Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good morning, Divas. My name is Candace Gish, and I'm the host of the Divas That Care Network. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We have a great show for you. For any of you that have just tuned in for the very first time, our show has been running now for 9 years. What we do is we have a bunch of hosts. We're committed, women that interview weekly, to make the world a better place. You know, we love to interview these amazing women all around the world. And so if you would like to be interviewed by one of our hosts, you make sure that you let us know because we'd love to have you. Our hashtag out there is Divas That Care. Well, let's get started, ladies. As I said, I'm really excited. I had the opportunity to meet our guest today a few years ago. And you're really going to love her story. You're going to love the things that she's going to share with you. She's a very inspirational woman and always empowering people around her. So let's get started. Daphne McDonough, welcome to the show today. I am so excited to have you.
I am so excited to be here. Oh, my goodness. I feel so grateful.
It is going to be so much fun.
We are going to have so much fun. I'm excited.
Well, Daphne, because you are a brand new diva to our family, I want to welcome you to our diva family. And could you spend a couple of minutes sharing a little bit about yourself?
Oh, wow. Thank you. Like I said, thank you for welcoming me to the Divas group. Sharing a little bit about myself. Like I was telling you before the call, I actually grew up with horses my entire life. And when I was 15, I was involved in a fatal car accident, and I chose to come back. Long story short, I was in a coma I was on full life support for 2 weeks. And when they unplugged me from that, they didn't expect me to live, but I did. And they said I was going to be in a coma for the rest of my life. And once they took me off the medicine, I actually came out of my coma 4 days after that. So, you know, massive closed head brain injury, coma or life support for 2 weeks, coma for 18 days. They said I was going to be a vegetable for the rest of my life. And actually, they wanted to harvest my organs that first night after the car accident, but my parents said no, thankfully, because otherwise we wouldn't be having this conversation. But yeah, they said I was going to be a vegetable for the rest of my life. So I like to joke, for a potato, I'm doing not too bad.
I love it. Well, from there, you've learned so much, and I know that happened to you at a very young age. But tell us what happened after that.
Well, I mean, I was in the hospital. I was 15 when it happened, and I turned 16 in the hospital. And I went from being a very athletic teenager to not being able to do anything. I had to learn how to walk and talk and feed myself and dress myself again. It was really, really hard on me, both emotionally and physically. And I mean, I lived in pain for over 20 years, and I tried everything. I tried everything to get rid of my pain. And it wasn't until actually that I found magnets that I could start living without pain, which is, funny because people say magnets. But yeah, it's because of their positive and negative polarities, they balanced my energies. So they stimulated the underactive organs and they sedated the overactive ones. But yeah, I did the Healing with Crystals Therapy diploma. I actually went to college to become a rehabilitation practitioner. So I thought that's a perfect job for me because I was a person with a disability, so I was going to help people who had disabilities, to get better.
I love that.
I worked in that field for 8 years, and I had many successful jobs in that field. But after 8 years, I realized that not everybody wants to get better. And that was very disheartening for me because of what I came back from. And I just couldn't wrap my head around why people wouldn't want to get better. So I began to look for other options. And so while I was still working in the rehab field, I did the Healing with Crystals Therapy diploma, and I did the Animal Science diploma. So I had my rehab diploma, my Animal Science diploma, and my Healing with Crystals Therapy diploma. And then I went to work in a bank. Which, makes no sense whatsoever. But, everything happens for a reason because it was in the bank that I had a friend give me some magnet earrings. And I kind of went a little crazy and I wanted more, so I started making them. And then, God bless my husband's soul, he says, I think you should show your friends because I think they'd like them. So I did, and they went, oh, my goodness, Daphne, I think you should do necklaces and bracelets to go with these things. So I did, right? And they said to me, "You should make a card." And so, having a conversation with my husband, I said, "What do you think I should put on the card?" And he said, "Well, Daphne's healing hands, because that's what you do. You have healing hands." So, and it was in the bank that I met the lady who had the laser. So, I mean, with Daphne's healing hands, I guess, not that I'm trying to sell what I do, but everything that I do within my business are things that I use for myself so that I can feel good, right?
Yes.
So,
That is
I
so
mean, I
true.
do crystal.
And I just want to back up there, too, because I love, because I'm listening to your story right now, and I'm seeing so many similarities between you and I, which is quite
Oh, for
amazing.
sure.
When I first finished and I went to, or when I first went to college, I actually have a background in rehabilitation also. I thought, well, this would be a great thing. I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, but I really wanted to work with people. And so I ended up going to school for the same thing you did. And I grew up on a farm
Cool.
where we had horses. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness. And then I'm thinking, you're talking about all these other courses that you took. And I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. I'm like, her and I must have been sisters.
Must have been
it's
mirror,
amazing
right?
yeah, exactly. You know, you meet a lot of individuals out there that their stories are quite inspiring, and you see where it's leading them. And I honestly, when I first learned about you years ago, I was like, this woman is amazing. Look at what she's doing, how she's overcome this obstacle in her life to be where she is today. And I love this because we have many friends in common in many different areas of our life. And you are actually an author, a co-author in a book. And I just want to kind of dive into that a little bit, because in this book you also share your story, correct?
I do. Actually, in book 1 and book 2, we're actually having the launch of book 2 next weekend at the Sacred Hearts Rising Summit. The book is called Sacred Heart Rising. It's an anthology series. And actually, the publisher of the book, I was first referred to her to work on her horse a year before she started the book. And then we crossed paths at some random market, and she said, "I think you should be an author." And she really had to twist my rubber arm so that I would, write my story. But yeah, I believe that I survived. I believe that I came back so that I could help people see that, yeah, sometimes life gets difficult, but if you make the choice to move on, you can. There is
Yep.
no failure in my life ever. It's just lessons.
Oh.
Yeah. Going back to my son for just a second. He's 7. I'm married and I have a 17-year-old son who's graduating this year. Who would have ever thought, right? I'm still flabbergasted. Kindergarten was a good year. I don't know where the rest went. But, we're talking to him about what he's going to do after grade 12, and he's scared. He says, "I don't want to fail." And I said, "Colton, honestly, there is no such thing as failure." I said, "If ever you think you're a failure," because he was born 9 weeks early. He was only 3 pounds, 4 ounces. So I said, "If ever you think you're a failure, look at that picture from that day you were born. I think you're doing pretty good." Everything in life for me is a lesson. The glass is neither half full nor half empty. It's always refillable in my world.
And that's why you're part of our Diva family, because look at that, just saying that, I bet you that's just brought a smile to everybody's face. Because if everybody just lived with that type of thought, look at what we could do in the world.
Yeah, it's honestly, really, for me, it's all about love. It's about sharing love. It's about sharing who we truly and authentically are. It's about shining our light to be the best versions of ourselves and not trying to be somebody that we're not. Because I believe that when we share who we are with each other, there's more than enough to go around.
Yes. You live a life of gratitude, and it's so awesome to hear that in your voice. And, we're really thankful that you are sharing that with us today, because sometimes, we all have our journeys. We all have our ups and downs, and it's how we take them head on. If we're able to take it head on and we're able to deal with those, and how we deal with it, and if we can deal with it with grace and humility and love, like you're saying, then, oh my goodness, we don't know what's going to happen, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and I've put it so yeah, I mean I never thought I would be an author, but everybody told me I think you should write a book, and I'm like I don't need to write a book. But I wrote a chapter in 2 books, so I'm good. But
Well, I think that's beautiful.
and I've been given opportunities now to speak. Actually, I'm speaking at Summit this year to share a story. I mean, it's about motivation and inspiration and growth and transformation, right? It's about not hiding our wings. I mean, the second book is called Finding Your Wings. So, yeah, it's I like helping people find their wings again.
Well, you're definitely doing that. You've inspired a lot of people, and I know that you've inspired me through the journey that I've seen you go through, and hearing it through mutual friends of ours, what you're doing. And I thought, well, this is great, and I'm glad I really reached out to you to have you on our show today, because I think this is what we need in a world of uncertainties and people. There's a lot of emotional ties to things. You know, when we listen to women like yourself and what you're doing and how you're trying to make the world a better place, it helps us through those moments.
Well, thank you. It's because I made the choice. There was one point in my life when I was still in a lot of pain and I was still really sad and everything else, but then it was a really hard lesson for me to learn. But the things that I couldn't control, as soon as I stopped worrying about the things that I couldn't control, my life got way easier. And I just focused on the things that I could. And I mean, it's not about control, because I mean, it's universe, and the universe is going to make things happen the way it's supposed to happen. But like I said to you earlier, I was commenting to a friend how, I'd like to reconnect with you. And then I got home and I seen the email from you that you wanted to talk to me. It's like, yes. So I believe that we all have say in our worlds, and what we think we create. So I'm just always very careful about what I think about and what I ask for, because what I ask for I get. So, and I know that some people might not be there or believe in that, but it's true. If we think about love and joy and gratitude, the world brings us more of that. But if we think about pain and suffering and lack and everything else, guess what? We're going to get it. So I choose the latter.
Very true.
I choose the happy.
I love that. And now, Daphne, I kind of want to dive into another topic here, because
sure.
I wanted to know, you work with people and their animals, and I want to talk about that because a lot of people might not know that you do this. So can you share with us what it is that you do with these people?
Okay, well, it's funny because people ask me what I do, and I chuckle. I say I do many things. What do you need help with? I'm a healing energy coach, and I help people and animals to release and let go of things they don't need to carry anymore. I realize that's a big statement, but I help balance, restore, and rejuvenate energies in both animals and people. I use crystal therapy, I use cold laser therapy, I use sacred geometry tools, and I use just the different energy modalities that I've been trained in. I mean, if you want, I can go through the list of that too, but I do what needs to be done for the person. Well, no, I mean, it was funny when I was working in the bank still. I had a trainer from the racetrack come in, and she was telling me about her horse that had a bowed tendon. And she said, "Do you think you could help him?" And I said, "Well, by all rights and purposes, yes." She said, "Well, come on down and try." So I did 4 treatments on him, and I healed the bowed tendon. And the first race he ran in after that, he won, and the bow never came back.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, I help injuries, I help emotions, there isn't a lot that I can't help. Now, here's the thing. I am not the healer. I am the conduit of channeling the healing energies. I first learned that I could help animals I first learned the coalition between animals and people when I helped a cat, and the cat had a lot of joint and arthritic pain, and so did the owner. Well, I helped the cat, and it was funny because the owner stood up from the couch and didn't need her cane, and she looked at me and she said, "What did you just do?" I said, "Well, I helped your cat feel better." She said, but I feel better too. So, I mean, our animals, I realized after that, is our animals carry our health concerns too because they love us so unconditionally. And animals are so receptive to what I do, and they're so receptive to channeling the energies that they just accept it. They don't question it. It feels good, and they accept it.
Very true.
But please ask me more questions because I don't know what you're.
I love this because I had the opportunity, and you know my mom, which is a really amazing thing because to have an amazing woman onto the show that actually knows my mom, and my mom has always been my biggest supporter, my biggest mentor, the person that really has pushed me out of my comfort zone to do the things what I've always done, and I love this because when I was younger, one of the things that she showed me is we did a thing called light therapy, and we would go around and we would always be doing light therapy, and we started on our animals because, and one of the things that her quote says is because, animals don't worry about that thing between their ears. They just feel it. And I'm listening to you and I'm like, these are things that my mom has said to me for 25, 30 years. And I love it because it is. You just do these things. And animals are always so much easier to work on than people are because people are always thinking. And when you start thinking and it is almost like they need to believe in order for it to work for them, whereas animals just accept. And they know that you're trying your best to help them through the situations that they're going through. And if you've got that pure intention, an animal knows. An animal knows if you're a good person or a not good person. And I've always accepted that and realized that with growing up on a farm and doing stuff like that. So
they actually brought my barrel horse to the hospital. So, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but they actually brought my barrel horse to the hospital when I was still in the hospital, and they took me outside to see her.
And that's therapy in itself.
Right?
I've had the pleasure to interview all these amazing women out there that are really into animal therapy, and they've used all different types of animals, not just horses and dogs and cats. I've had ladies with rabbits and birds, and I think what it is. It's having animals work so well with people, and it's beautiful to hear the stories that people are sharing.
Well, it's funny because I tell people that I'm an animal communicator, and they say, well, how do you do that? I say, well, I ask a question and I listen. And they say, what? I said, that's what I do. I ask a question and I listen.
And it's a hard thing for people to understand. No, I love that. And you're working with people, too. You're helping them through this transition in their lives. So one of the things that we're going to ask, because I know our listeners are going to be wondering today about your business, okay? Because we definitely talk about businesses, we talk about people's causes and things and all that. When a person is working with you, are you mostly you're coaching them through this? You're working through this. Do you work online with people, or do they need to be with you in person? How does that work?
Well, actually, I do in-person Release and Let Go sessions. So with the in-person Release and Let Go sessions, what I do is it's wonderful how I have melded all of the things that I do together, and there's nobody doing what I do. I get a person to write a list of what they're wanting to release in their life, and then I use the laser on the frequency of unwind to unwind their body from the stress and dis-ease that they're suffering. I mean, and I could go into a big, long scientific explanation of what I'm doing, but long story short, I'm helping their body to relax and get to a place of still point so that when we're done unwinding, we burn the list, and then I switch from the neutralization ring, which is a sacred geometry tool, to the sun ring, and then I switch. If the person's got physical concerns, I use what's called the pleo frequency to detoxify and put all the cells back into their proper hexagonal formation to get rid of any injuries. Or if it's more emotional, then what I do is I just put it on the miracle frequency and the sun ring. And I love it when people say, well, what does miracle do? I'm like, well, miracle for you is different than miracle for me, so it's going to do whatever you need it to do. But they also have a list of what they would like to manifest in their life, what they want to allow or intend to create in their life. So, I mean, it's magical because, I mean, the in-person sessions, I mean, I bring the person to a place of still point so that they stop thinking. And it's wonderful because I'll ask people how they're doing while they're on my table, or I love doing in the summertime in a hammock between two trees. It's absolutely beautiful. But yeah, and they tell me that there's nothing in my head. I'm like, perfect. Okay, let's go on to the next step then.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
But I've had amazing results with distance sessions as well with people around the world. What I do is I take their picture and I put it under a sun ring along with a clear quartz and a smoky quartz with a triple pyramid over top, and using the light therapy as well. And so through healing intent, I send them what they need. And I have amazing results with that. It's funny because a lot of people tell me that they feel tingly. I'm like, perfect. That's working. You can do it.
So, question for you, Daphne. Is this similar to like a Reiki session then? Because I know a lot of our listeners we've had different Reiki masters on. Is this similar to that?
In the big, broad scheme of things, yes.
Perfect.
I'd say yes.
Just so that they have an understanding. I love that. That is so cool. Well, Daphne, this has been so much fun. I've enjoyed it. I'm actually looking forward to meeting you in person, not just, again, because it's been a long time since I've seen you, at the Sacred Hearts Rising Summit, because I have the opportunity to be there also this weekend.
Oh,
and I'm really looking forward to hearing you. Yes. And
oh my
seeing
God,
you and,
I'm so excited.
Doing that. So it's going to be so much fun because, the women and the individuals a part of this, they're so inspiring, and I'm just excited to be able to meet each and every one of you, and to
so
just
excited.
do that and listen to your story. So thank you for coming on our show today, and thank you for this weekend, because I'm excited to see you again.
Well, I'm excited to reconnect this weekend, and you'll get to meet my mom too. She's coming as well.
Oh my goodness, that's going to be so fun. Thank you.
Right?
And last minute thing, I should ask you, Daphne, can you share any of your social media links with our listeners today?
Oh my goodness. Well, my Instagram is crystal_healer. My Facebook is Healing Energy Coach, or Daphne's Healing Hands, or Healing Energy. Yeah, no, Daphne's Healing Hands. Type that into Facebook. My website is daphneshealinghands.com. I don't know what other ones is there. There's probably 4 or 5 more, but
well, we'll be posting a lot of them on our social media also, so that our listeners can get in touch with you today. One last thing, Daphne, is there any tips, tools, anything you'd like to share with our listeners?
Take a deep breath. Sometimes life gets difficult, but you know what? Just take a deep breath. Life always works itself out. Everything is okay. Don't need to stress. Just take a deep breath. Life is wonderful.
Oh.
We just have to accept it.
Life is wonderful. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much, Daphne. I had a pleasure talking with you today.
Thank you so much, Candace.
It was great. And you know what? I want to thank each of our amazing listeners today. We've continued to do this show now for, as I said in the beginning, 9 years. And it's because of all of you that we continue to do this, because you are all, you guys are amazing out there, and you're always sending us all these reviews, and I'm just so grateful to all of our listeners and people that have been with us. I'm thank you to all of our guests that have been on our program. I'm just very grateful in general because of this program, the Divas That Care Network, and the movement that we are trying to do out in the world. If you have an opportunity, we have 2 amazing books that are out there now that our guests have been a part of, and we'd love for you to check them out. The proceeds of these books do go to women and children's charities around the world, so we're really excited about that. I want to thank you guys all again. I hope that each and every one of you has an amazing day, and if you have a chance, check out our other hosts at divasthatcare.com. Until next time, you guys all have a great day, and we will talk to you soon. Bye-bye for now.